How much does it actually cost to buy a home in Kitchener, Ontario? Today, what I'm going to do is share my screen here with you very shortly, and we're going to dive into every single price point between $500,000 all the way to $1 million, and we'll look at a variety of options you can find in each and every single of those price points from 5 to 6, 6 to 7, and so on up to the $1 million. And hey, if you do stick around until the end of this video, I'll also share with you this very simple step-by-step process that you can follow yourself to inform yourself of your options in any given real estate market at any given point of time. So stay tuned and let's get right into it. Hey, just before we dive right in, if this is your first time to this channel and you want to know everything there is to know about living in and around Kitchener, then be sure to subscribe to this channel and tap on the bell for notifications so you can be the first to learn about the current market in and around Kitchener. My name is Dharmik Dixit. I'm a local real estate agent serving Cambridge, Kitchener, Waterloo, and surrounding areas. I do get calls, text, emails from people just like you who are looking for help in making their move in and around Kitchener, and I absolutely love it. So whether you're thinking of moving in 9 days or 9 months, be sure to reach out. You can give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email, or you can even schedule a Zoom call. All the info you will find right below in the description. I'll be more than happy to help you make a smooth move in and around Kitchener, Ontario. All right, so hopefully you can see my screen by now, and we're gonna dive right into it. So I have 500 to 600 filtered already, and to give you some idea of the time that we're working with, we're basically into the second week of March, so you can call it early spring 2024, and we're going to look at a few homes that you can find in 5 to 6. Take a quick glance at it. So let's take a look at, this is Huron Park area. So let's take a look at this one that sold for 520. So if you are in low 500, this is ideally what you're looking at. This is Trustler, like border of Huron Park and Trustler. And this is 520, sold in December 2023. I want to actually find something rather a little bit recent, more recent. Let's see, what about this one? Okay, end of January. We'll take a look at one more and see if we can find something even more recent. 14th of January, 23 of January. Okay, all right, let's take a look at this one that was sold like 5 days ago in Huron Park, and seems like more like a stacked town, but 2-bedroom, 2-washroom, and 192 condo fee, built in 2014, about 10 years old, and just under 900 square feet of living space. Let's take a look at the pictures. So likely it is, yeah, so you're on the first floor, and decent enough living space, maybe for a small family. It's an open concept living / dining / kitchen on the same floor, and then you have one powder room. And when you go upstairs is where you have one full, washroom. That's your first bedroom, decent size, and that's the second bedroom. So, anywhere close to 900 square feet, if you're trying to fit 2-bedroom, just keep in mind, like one of the bedrooms will be more on the smaller end, like smaller size, and the other one will be a bigger bedroom, which you can almost call a master bedroom. But that's likely what you'll be looking at. And you have a nice and cute balcony. And some of this will come with the stacked laundry. Seems like they don't have a dryer, but more than likely the dryer would fit in on the top of a washer. This stacked townhomes do come with a stacked laundry majority of the time. So that's your low 500. Now, if you were to look at, and again, like I said, if you were to stay with something newer, well, you will be prepared to pay condo fee of somewhere between close to $200 all the way to $350, not more than that, but you will be looking at somewhere around under 1,000 square feet of living space. But the condo fee and the the size of the home will sometimes go hand in hand, because these condo fees are calculated based on price, like the fees per square feet. And some of the newer stacked townhome communities are charging as high as 28 to 30 cents per square feet. So this one, on the other hand, that we just saw was not that bad. For 900 square feet, you're paying close to just under $200, which is not a bad idea. Now let's look at this. So this is Pioneer Park area, and this is again one of those neighborhoods where you'll find quite a few options, but the construction will be slightly on the older end. So Pioneer Park is one of those neighborhoods. However, just one thing to keep in mind, Pioneer Park is one of those neighborhoods which is notorious in terms of some condo town communities in these neighborhoods the condo fees are very high. So you just want to keep in mind that you're not, paying quite a lot in condo fees. Look at this one. This is a classic example, $498 a month. built in 1973, although you are getting close to 1100 square feet, and it's a 3 bed and 3 bath. So proper townhome, 2 story. It's not a stack down or one of those that we saw in Huron Park, but you are going for older construction. You're paying higher in condo fees, and but you're getting a bigger space and bigger layout. Let's take a look at the pictures on this one to see how this one looks. So you have a powder room on the main floor, and decent sized living room. As you can see, it's definitely bigger and more spacious than the other one we saw. And they have a small dining area with kitchen, and then you basically go upstairs and okay, this is the basement pictures first. Usually we see it the other way around, but you do have a finished basement, which is a plus. And seems like there is a one full washroom inside the basement, which is great. And then here we are upstairs. So, and you can see, I think the flooring has been done newly, quite recently, but a decent sized bedroom. And then you have one full washroom. So basically one full washroom on second floor, one full washroom in the basement, which is finished. And then you have a powder room on the main floor. So that's where your 3 bathrooms are. And decent sized rooms. Second and third room obviously will be smaller than the master bedroom, but pretty decent size. And you get to have your backyard. You typically don't in some of those stacked townhomes if you're living on the upper level. But now we have a decent idea as to, okay, I can go with something that has a higher condo fee, that's slightly older, but I get a bigger space for my family, or I could go for something that's newer, slightly smaller layout and living space, but the condo fees are also small and it gives me a lower entry price point. So that's where you have to pick your bets. You have to see what fits your family size and the requirements. But as you approach that mid 500, definitely Pioneer Park will give you some options. And Pioneer Park also will have some of the freehold. Let's look at the 600, especially as you go high 500s. And if you're willing to settle for, let's say, some of the older construction, well, you will definitely find some options here in Pioneer Park. Take a look at this one, for example. It's a semi-detached home. Pioneer Park is a really good neighborhood. You can't go wrong with that. Very close to Conestoga College, very close to Highway 8. And let's take a look at this one. So it's a semi, so it is a freehold. There is no condominium maintenance fee. So someone working with 550 might be asking themselves, well, maybe if I can stretch a little bit extra and not having to pay that condo fee, that will definitely, increase my affordability in terms of my mortgage. And perhaps I can go for a freehold semi that's about 600,000, right? So this is to give you guys a really good idea as to what you can find in that 5 to 600,000. So pretty decent. And again, you do have a finished basement with seems like a walkout, which is pretty amazing. And I want to see 3-bedroom, 2 full washrooms, so 1 in the basement, 1 on the second floor. And this one 1977, but look at this, 1900 square feet of living space. Although they mentioned the basement is unfinished, I suppose the basement was finished. Let's take a look at the pictures again, because this is the second floor where they have 3 bedrooms. I believe that's the basement, which I'm not sure why they mention it as unfinished, but that's where your basement is. Okay, so that's what you're looking at. That was sold just in the second week of February, about less than a month ago, close to a month ago, for 600,000. So as you go into high 5, definitely your options will open up. We'll look at one more in a Huron Park area, and then we'll move on to the next price point. Again, 585, like high 500. This one sold like 4 days ago. 2-bed, 2-bath. You're looking at close to 1,000 square feet of living space, $253 maintenance, which is what comes with this, stacked towns, but slightly better space than the first one that we saw for low 500s. Obviously, the other option for this price range of 5 is to go for condo apartments. But for this video, we'll try to stick to more like condo townhomes, stacked townhomes, and things like that, because I do believe that condo apartments will come with higher maintenance for the same price. So stack towns, on the other hand, I do feel like they are better return on investment in general compared to those condominium apartments, especially in a suburban town like Kitchener, Ontario. But as you can see, just looking at the pictures, you can see the space is slightly bigger than the other one that we saw, and even this one, you're backing onto the green space. You don't have neighbors backing onto you, and it's pretty standard for a stacked townhome close to 1,000 square feet. And let's see, I want to take a look at one more thing to see if what year was it built, and they don't have it mentioned, but more than likely I can say this was built in last at the most 10 years or so. I think I have been into this corner town for a client of mine, and I would say they are built within last 5 to 7 years at the most. So that's your 5 to 6, and let's take a look at 6 to 7 and what we can find as we go into that price range. So again, let's take a look at first around low 600s. Okay, we have a couple of options here in Huron Park. 3-bedroom, 3-washroom. So you can see, even with the condo town, like as you increase your budget, obviously you get a better options, better layouts. 1,400 square feet, 1,440, and then only $263 a month a maintenance fee. We saw some of the other condo towns close to 1,000 square feet where start charging close to $200. Compared to that, if you were to count condo fees per square feet, this one is on a lower end. So I would rather go with something like this compared to some of those stacked townhome if you have a budget to extend up to 600, because you can see, like, just look at this open living space, and just looking at the picture, you can make out the space is huge. Even the kitchen, that island, and you have basically the bedrooms are on the second floor, like second level. I have actually been to one of these homes, and they are really spacious, I can tell you that. And I think you do have a balcony, and that's your walkout to the small deck, patio you can call it. But pretty decent homes these ones are, and they haven't tried to cramp up like a lot of space, like fit too much into this. 1,400 square feet for condo town is a pretty good layout. So that's your second level, and again, you do have a walk-in closet, you have an ensuite here, and then you have another washroom on the second level, which is pretty decent. So that's your second washroom, which is shared by the other 2 bedrooms. And as a master, you will have your ensuite. But just look at the size of this closet and the size of this room that you can make out. As you increase that, square footage, definitely you will get a better layout. So that's into the low 6 with a condominium fee. I want to show you something and see whether you can find something like Forest Heights, where you can find some options in Forest Heights for this price range. Maybe not so much. Okay, yeah. Okay, let's take a look at this. Are we still in Forest Heights? Yeah, no, this is Forest Hill, which is next to it. But I'm more of a fan of Forest Heights than the Forest Hill. We are still in Forest Hill with Greenbrook. So yeah. So not a lot of options in Forest Heights. I want to look at this one, West Heights Drive. Okay, this one is Forest Heights, but this is again a condo town community, 3-bed, 2-bath. So again, this is one on the older side, and $434 a month maintenance, but you're getting close to 1,500 square feet of living space. So, and it's a 3-bedroom, 2-washroom layout. Let's see what this one looks like. It could definitely use some updates in terms of flooring. I can see old parquet flooring, maybe a fresh coat of paint, and some light fixtures could be updated. Although I can see the kitchen is not that bad. I see the granite countertop and pretty spacious kitchen. Second floor, flooring has been done recently, I can say. Definitely not from the 80s. So they have gone through renovation at some point, but it's just that they have not revamped it completely. The bathrooms could be renovated. But again, it does seem like more of a turnkey home that you could just move in as a first-time home buyer. without having to put in a lot of money into the house. And look at this spacious, beautiful basement. Even the basement flooring, I can see, it's one of the has been done recently. But you do have additional living space in the basement, and that's your backyard. So nice, cute patio here, and the walkout from the main floor. So that's also pretty decent. So not a lot of options. What I wanted to show you guys is, whether I think when we go from 7 to 8 is when you will find a lot of options, into that older kind of detached kind of homes. But, if you were to stick to some of the good neighborhoods, like let's say Dune South, let's see what we can find. Not a lot happening here. You can see like the 690, 688, 2-bedroom townhome. Let's see, is it a condo one? Yeah, it does have a condo fee. So you can see. And if you were to go with, let's say, Idlewood, what you can find for this, not a lot. Again, you can see there's nothing barely in the low six. Let's see what this one is. Yeah, that's the Grand River South. And again, just sold a couple of days ago. But look at the condo fees, right? So if you were to rather go for, I wanted to show you one other option, Laurentian West is where you will find some decent options in this price point. And there you go, right? So 6 to 7, you could go for slightly older construction, let's say into the early 2000s, and I'll show you a couple of options. Let's say mid 600. I don't want to stick to this David Berge because I know it's a condo town community, but I want to show you some other options that you can find in this price range that's a freehold. So this would be a good example. So you can go for rather something older, but a freehold. So as I said, early 2000s, you're looking at 2004, close to 1200 square feet, and the basement is unfinished, but you're not paying any condo fees, and you are into high 600s, right? So you can find something similar into the Huron Park as well. As you go into the high 600, Huron Park will give you like 3-bedroom, 2-washroom, close to 1200 square feet of living space. Homes built in the early 2000s is something you can achieve as you go like mid to high 600, more so to high 600, 670, 680, up to the 700s. But just look at this house, right? Pretty decent, move-in ready, turnkey for a first-time home buyer. And it's something that they can just move in and start living without having to spend money. I can see there's a fresh coat of paint, new flooring, no door hardwares are new, although it is built in 2004, but it's pretty much a move-in ready. You have a nice deck with a gazebo, and then a nice small little backyard as well. So that's what you're looking at as you go into that mid to high 600,000. Low six will still, in a good neighborhood, will not give you that many options. You might have to go for like a condominium townhome with some condo fees. But as you go mid to high 600, definitely you can achieve and aim for a rather something that's freehold. So that's what I wanted to show you. The other, let's see if we can find some other options in Huron Park, Kitchener. And you can see as you go high 6 into the 7, that's what you can achieve. Take a look at this one. This is what I was referring to. Exactly close to 1200 square feet. And you may find finished or unfinished basement, likely unfinished for this price range. But if it is finished, you are looking at the low 7, maybe 725, 730. My client did actually buy one last fall for 670 on the same street, 208 Sophia. And, we paid 670 for a similar house, basically the exact same layout. As you enter, this is your entry to the basement, but it is a freehold town. And I believe this one is built in 2008. But you have basically his and her closet in the master bedroom. And then you have one common washroom. I believe it's a Jack and Jill, at least the one that we bought for my client had a Jack and Jill concept where this is the entrance to the washroom, but they had a way going into the washroom from a master bedroom as well. But that's your second bedroom, and that's your, one full washroom, and the laundry is on the second floor, which is a plus. Basically exactly the same concept as the layout as the other one, 208 Sophia that my client bought. And of course, you have finished basement close to like 450 square feet is what we are looking at. So that's your option in Huron Park. I think this is 2008. The whole thing doesn't show the building age, but I can tell you this is around that 2008, early 2000s. So there you go. That's your options for 6 to 7. Now we're gonna move on to the 700 to 800,000, and let's see what we can find in that price range. So again, within the same Huron Park, let's start from here and then we'll move on to a couple of other neighborhoods. I want to show you where you can find a few decent options. And yes, now as you go into the high sevens, Dune South, Grand River South, and some of these neighborhoods which are newly developed will definitely give you a few more options. But let's see, this one sold for 700,000. Again, this is more so in Trussler. 3-bedroom, 3-washroom, freehold townhome is what you're looking at. Somewhere between 12 to 1500 square feet. This one does say 1000 to 1500, but you know what? We will rather show you something else that's more relevant for that price point. Let's look at this on Maitland. Chantilly. Okay. See, 3-bedroom, 2-washroom. Again, low 700, unfinished basement, but slightly bigger layout than the one that we saw for 697 in Huron Park itself. So sometimes we see finished basement, they will go for low 7s into the 720, 730s. But I will not show you the inside picture of this because it's going to be very similar layout as to the one that we saw. But let's look at this one. This is a rather 2-story layout. And again, a freehold. Sold in December though. Nah. I would rather stick to something a bit newer. Let's go to, where should we go? Dune South maybe? And see what we can find there. Not a lot in Dune South. And, that's typically a sign of a good neighborhood. These are executive townhomes. Let's do Forest Heights and see what we can find. A lot of options in Forest Heights. So let's look at this one. So you could go for something like this in one of the rather mature neighborhoods like Forest Heights. On the west, we have Pioneer Park. On the east, we have Stanley Park, which is more into the center of Kitchener. These are some of the established neighborhoods. Into the 7 and 8, between that price range, you're looking at more like something older like this. Like this is, as you can see, around 45 years old, built in 1980s, but 972, but it's a raised bungalow. So the living space, when you look at the inside pictures, you won't find it small. But the benefit is you have 2 bedrooms above ground and 2 bedrooms in the basement, which is finished as well. And seems like you have 2 full washrooms, more than likely. 1 full washroom on the second floor and 1 main floor and 1 on the basement. Let's take a look at the inside pictures. This is low 700s, is pretty decent. As you can see, you can easily fit in 2 or 3 cars in here, at least 2 cars. And you have side entrance. And what I can see, the house has been kept well, even though it's built in 80s. The current owners, the sellers, did actually take good care of the home, and everything is brought up to the current finishes. Like you can see that light fixture, the paint of coat. Gray is obviously the way to go these days, but you can see new flooring, this accent wall by the dining area, all of these things, right? Look at the kitchen, pretty decent shape. And this is what I was referring to. Like, even though all the bedrooms are basically on the same floor, you don't have a second level in this house. It's, as I said, the raised bungalow. So even though you see it's under 1,000 square feet, the space is pretty decent. Like, you do have, your dedicated dining area. You do have a decent sized kitchen. Take a look at this, right? It's a kind of a C-shaped kitchen, which is decent sized, lots of cabinet and counter space. And then you have, open concept living area. And then we will look at 1 bedroom. So this is your first bedroom. And this what seems like, one of the bigger bedrooms. And you do have a walkout. I don't know if it's the balcony or a patio, but more than likely a balcony, since it is a raised bungalow. And that's your full washroom on the main floor. Laundry. Look at the space of the laundry area, and there you have your finished basement. And just look at the space here. Because it's a bungalow, you're basically getting more or less the similar space. So let's say if it's 900 square feet above ground, well, you're gonna get around 8 or 900 square feet below ground as well in the basement, and that's the magic of a bungalow, right? So as a first-time home buyer, if you were to, let's say, able to rent out this basement, that's an additional, mortgage helper right there, just from the day you move in. And there you go. More than likely this is the separate entrance, or if it is not, you would easily add a separate entrance, considering the fact that this is a detached home, right? And look at the size of a deck. It could definitely use a fresh coat of stain on it. Maybe some sanding and staining would help improve its life. But look at the size of the backyard. Like, you're looking at, I don't know, I didn't pay attention to the square footage of the lot, but just looking at it, I would say it's close to, like, more than 100 feet deep. And there you go, 141 deep, and then 34 feet wide. So you're looking at like close to 4,500 square feet of lot size. So that's what I wanted to show you guys. Like, as you get into the sevens, like low to mid and high sevens, neighborhoods like Forest Heights, Stanley Park, Pioneer Park will give you some really good options if you are willing to settle for a little bit of an older construction. When I say older, somewhere around 30 to 50 years. I'm not asking that you may not have to go all the way to 50s and 60s, but yes, 70s, maybe 80s and 90s. Especially in 70s and 80s, you will find a lot of options in some of these older neighborhoods. And on the other hand, you could go for something new, like I showed you in Huron Park, which will give you a rather newer townhome, better layouts, bigger layouts. I'll take you a look at this one, a brand new townhome. This whole community of, on Pony Way, this whole street, there's still some construction that's ongoing in this neighborhood. But this one is built within the last couple of years, I can tell you. But you still have a small condo fee, although you're getting over 1,500 square feet in a townhouse. That is 2-story layout. Let's take a look at this from inside. So that will give you a good idea about your options. And let me know in the comments below, would you go for something like this that's brand new, decent size, 15, like anything over 1,500 for a townhome is a really good layout and spacious enough layout. But you would go for something like this in one of the newly established neighborhood, or you would rather go for something that we show, looked at in Forest Heights, that was sold for $720, but has a rental potential just as you move in. So those are the couple of options you're looking at. But a pretty standard finish from the builder these days. What you see in this home is coming as pretty standard, like, there's, quartz countertops in the, kitchen and, washroom sinks. At the same time, this, flooring. And what, if you look at like pretty standard builder finish, nothing too fancy. This flush mounts, pretty basic. So, that's where you have to pick your bet. But yeah, on the positive side, you are getting a newer construction. So some people and some buyers are kind of, worried about going for too old of a construction and, finding themselves with, some issues down the road. But you could go for something like this, or you could go for, like I showed you the other one, where, it has a rental potential. Like this is another example in Huron Park, where you do have high 700 sold in Jan 2024. You're looking at, again, close to 1,500 square feet, just built this year in 2024. And I think more than likely someone just closed it and now has put it for sale, but it is a freehold townhome. And interesting. So I'm assuming that, the builder did, they opted for the builder to finish the basement for the house. So let's take a look at this one. And again, this is probably Fusion Homes. They are pretty active in Huron Park. And there is a detached home community that's, they are currently selling detached homes within the same neighborhood. So they're ranging, 1.2 and up. So if you have interest, definitely. But take a look at this, like close to 1,500 square feet. It's pretty decent layout. And as you can see, it's brand new home pretty much. What I like is, no carpet on the main floor, no carpet on the stairs. And, what I can tell you is you will not run short of space in a house like this. Although, so this is the basement, what I can see. And more than likely, this is the mechanical room. And then they have a washroom here. So basically a rec room with a cozy fireplace there, and that's the mechanical room. And second floor, again, bedrooms have carpets, but nowhere else. And this must be the master. I can see an ensuite and a walk-in closet. There you go. Double sinks, soaker tub, standalone, pretty good. I can tell you the buyers probably have opted for some upgrades here. Builders don't oftentimes provide this, kind of finishes, as a standard. So, and that's your second washroom, which is not an ensuite. It's the one that's shared between those two other bedrooms. But take a look at the size of these bedrooms. I mean, you could easily, turn them into like proper, either a nursery. One of them is more on the smaller side, this one. But the other one, this one is still like you could easily fit in a queen size bed into this. Just looking at the windows, I can say that, the room is big enough. While on the other side, you can see. So that's your options into the 7 to 8. You can go for a bungalow style homes, or you could rather go for some like this. I want to show you something east, Grand River South. I feel like, this price point will give you some options. Okay, they have what, 770, 701 Upper Merced. Well, but this is a condo town. Dune South. I do feel like, you should not be paying condo fees for this price range unless you really like the house and you really want to stick to one particular neighborhood, such as Dune South or Grand River South will still not give you a lot of options into the high sevens. You will be looking at it's just that the activity has been low, but in a neighborhood like Dune South or Grand River South or Idlewood, you will be definitely looking at high 700s for a freehold townhome, close to 1,500 square feet that we saw in Huron Park, two-story layout built within last 5 to 10 years at the most. That will definitely give you some options as you go high 700s. But like I said, that's where you have some decision making to do. I also wanted to show you Laurentian West in this price range, and then you can see a variety of options. And you know what, let's take a look at the one that this is probably not Laurentian West. Okay, it is still. We're kind of at the border of Laurentian West at this. But again, sold in December, 3-bed, 4-bath, semi-detached, 1333, 2008 built. Laurentian West is pretty much built at the latest early 2000s, where some part of the neighborhoods you will find late 90s as well. But take a look at this one. Okay, this is again rather on the older side. I want to see if I can, and again, this is in Forest Heights. You know what, let's take a look at this in Forest Heights to see what you can find as you go high 800s. High 700s. 1972, again, raised bungalow, 1455 square feet, and more than close to 5,500 square feet of lot size. So, and you do have finished basement with the separate entrance. This is what I love about Forest Heights. Really good neighborhood, and you'll find really good quality homes that are, the bones are pretty strong. It's just that you will have to be comfortable going with something older construction. But just look at this house. I don't see someone having a need to spare a dime to move into a house like this. It's pretty much a move-in ready. And the best part is, you can rent out that basement with a separate entrance right away and start generating that cash flow to help you with your mortgage, right? And you know what, to make it to your taste, eventually you can always spend some money on renovation here and there to kind of make the home your own. And that's just the case with majority of the homes. Always keep in mind, if you're a first-time home buyer, like the very first home that you get into, just look at this home for a moment. I'll pause for a second. And now we're in the basement, and just look at the size of these windows. If you're on a daylight, you will not feel like you're in the basement. Plenty of natural light. And again, this is a proper bedroom in the basement, and then you have a kitchen and a full washroom. So that's what you're looking at, right? It's pretty much what seems like a 2-bedroom basement with a kitchen and separate entrance. Pretty decent sized lot, and you don't have neighbors backing onto the back, back of the house. pretty good options for high 700s in the forest heights. So this could be a great option. So that's one about forest heights into the high sevens. Now we're gonna do, and we're gonna basically change from 8 to 9 to give you guys an idea on what you can find in that price point. So it goes pretty much the same way for every neighborhood. 8 to 9, I will again see what we have in Dune South, and now some options open up. But just keep in mind, it could just be the case where in this particular time frame of, let's say, 90 days, there has not been much activity in the Dune South area, and that could just be the case where we don't see a lot of options. But what I can tell you is, as you go high 8, again, Dune South is rather one on the expensive end, but you're looking at a townhome, but close to 2,000 square feet. 1,900 square feet for a townhome is really good. And it'll be almost like, I've seen like single garage detached homes like that are 1,500 square feet. On the other hand, you have 1,900 square feet townhome, and I can assure you this will be a really good layout. Just looking at the size of the home, just look at the width of this foyer right here, right? That tells you, just as you enter into the house, that it's gonna be a nice and spacious house where you will not feel cramped. But on honesty, I do feel like you could find yourself something other than the townhome as you go into high 8. I'm not suggesting in any way that you have to go for a townhome. You in fact could go for a rather detached home at this price point, into the 8s, mid 8 and high 8. So you don't rather have to. But if you want to stick to Dune South, which is very close to 401, well, yeah, Dune South is, I felt like it's slightly above average in terms of price point, just because of the demand and the fact that it's closer to 401. Grand River South is something similar. You also, for the fact that these neighborhoods are very desirable, also for the fact that they are newly developed. You will not find a lot of older construction in Dune South or Grand River South on the east. So that's also part of the reason why you will find price points a little bit steep in some of this neighborhood. On the other hand, if you were to again go for Laurentian West, Kitchener, let's see what we can find. This 870. Okay, take a look at this detached house. I can see double wide garage, detached home in the Laurentian West. This must be early 2000s. Yeah, 2004, 1,600 square feet, 5,000 square feet lot size. Did you look at the backyard of that Dune South home versus this one? And you're looking at 5,000 square feet versus that townhome being close to 2,000 square feet of lot size. That tells you about the the size of the home in this neighborhood. And also worth noting, you're getting a corner size lot, double door entry. And what's the width of the house? Let me take a look. Sorry, it's 49 feet wide. Just look at this, just amazing. And if you understand the lot size game, 49 feet wide is pretty big, decent size layout, and you will see it just as you enter this foyer. Just look at it, how wide it is, and it's very welcoming. You're not cramped. Even if 3 people are wearing shoes at the same time, you will not be bumping into each other. And you have powder room just by the entrance. Very well open concept layout, very spacious, lots of natural light. And again, this is early 2000s. You're still not going too old. I'm not asking you to go into Forest Height and buy into 80s, although that will give you some rental income right off the bat, and you could find a decent layout on a bigger lot in a bungalow style home. Or you could go for something like this, a double garage detached in Laurentian West. That's about 20 years old, but just take a look at this home. Again, it's pretty much a move-in ready home. You have laundry on the second floor, which is a plus. Builders usually offer it as an upgrade. And master with beautiful, good-sized windows, and ensuite, which is obvious for a price point of this, high 800s. But it's pretty much renovated. Although it's 2004, it's renovated and move-in ready with the latest fixtures and the finishes. throughout the house. And that's your finished basement. 1600 plus, I would say roughly around at least 700 to 800 square feet of living space in the basement. Seems like they are using it as a rec room, and that's your garage. Like the fact that they have painted it. You don't see that as often, and very well organized. And look at that lot size, like just a deep lot with a deck, like a patio over here for those summer days. You could definitely use some stain for the patio, but you see your options now, right? Like Dune South or some of these newest, within the last 5 years, if you were to go, you will have to sell for a smaller home, like a townhome, or like even if it's a detached home, it'll be more like a single garage detached. You're not looking at something like this. But if you were to go for something Laurentian West or Forest Heights, definitely you're looking at a decent size, a double garage detached home in Laurentian West or Forest Heights, going a little bit older, but really good size lots, really spacious layouts, and a bungalow style homes with a potential of rental in one of those neighborhoods of Forest Heights. Pioneer Park may give you some options like that, and at the same time, Stanley Park, there are actually some duplexes which you can find, legal duplexes in some of these neighborhoods which are mature and established as you go high 8, low 900. But that's to give you a general idea about your options in some of this neighborhood. I'm curious to know what we can find in Huron Park. I haven't showed you guys Grand River South, which is on the east, which is again my favorite. That patch of Grand River South, Idlewood, Lackner Woods, not a lot happening here. Idlewood. Okay, yeah, again, this whole patch is really good. It's just that we are not able to find a lot of movement. Chicopee is pretty good too. But okay, this is Stanley Park. Like I said, the bungalow style homes that I was referring to earlier, into the 8s and high 8s, very similar to Forest Heights. That's what you'll find here. So those are your options into 8 and 9. Is there any other neighborhood I want to show you guys? Highland West could be a good option too, all the way to the west, if you're okay with that. Like, we are pretty much at the border of Kitchener and Waterloo as we enter into this neighborhood. But let's take a look at it. Again, Highland West is pretty much developed into the late 90s and early 2000s. 3-bedroom, 4-washroom, double garage detached, sold in Jan 2024. Like I said, late 90s, early 2000s, 1998, and you're looking at 1444. So just under 1,500 square feet, but a double garage detached with finished basement into the mid 800,000. So let's take a quick look at this one, and then I'll move straight to the 900 to $1 million price range. So you have living, dining, and kitchen, which is an open concept layout. Seems like I don't see any big walls here. And then you have a 2-piece here. Look at this open foyer. And yeah, okay, they don't have a basement floor plan attached here, maybe a later part of their pictures. But that's your foyer. That's your powder room right there. Pretty decent sized kitchen. It could definitely use some updates down the road. I don't see anything. I mean, obviously we'll have to take a closer look. But from just looking at the pictures, I don't see kitchen requiring immediate work. Well, you could definitely make it to your taste by adding like more current finishes that we see nowadays. But it's a pretty decent size. And what I love is this raised ceilings that makes the space look so much better and more spacious and bright. So this is, and then you have a formal dining area right next to the kitchen and the walkout to the deck. And this is your living area, and that's your way to the upstairs. So really good layout. And we'll take a look at the second floor, where you have 3 spacious bedrooms. That's your 1 full washroom, 2nd bedroom, 3rd bedroom. This seems like more like a master. Yep, that's where you have the ensuite. Okay, so that's the basement floor plan. We have a 3-piece bath as well. So basically 2 full washroom on the second level, 1 full washroom in the basement, and then you have 1 powder room on the main floor. So total of 4 washrooms, and then basically 3 full and 1 half. And then you have a rec room, a laundry in the basement, and the 3-piece bath, and there's a cold room. So that's your rec room. But finished basement is always a plus, because I can tell you, to finish up the basement, even though around 500 square feet, you're looking at about $35,000 to $40,000 if it's completely unfinished area of the home, because the construction and the material cost has obviously gone up over the past few years. I just had a client of mine finish close to 500 square feet basement, 5 to 550 in a townhome, and she paid close to $35,000 to kind of basically open rec room. You can't put in a bedroom in a 500 square feet basement; it'll be too cramped. But decent sized lot. That's your mid 800,000. If you were willing to go late 90s, early 2000s in one of the rather really good neighborhood. Highland West is kind of, like I said, border of Kitchener, Waterloo. So a lot of amenities of Waterloo will be just as close in Highland West. So you could access great amenities in Kitchener and Waterloo living in Highland West. So now finally we are into the 900, into the million. Let's see what's available in Highland West. Again, Westwell, we kind of did end up in Waterloo. So you have, like as you go here, like you have this University Street, and right after University is where you have Waterloo, right? So, but let's see what we can find in Highland West into the low 900s. So as you go 916, in Jan 2024, 2003, early 2000s, bigger layouts. That one was in mid 800. You're looking at close to under 15. Now this is close to 1750 square feet, 35 feet wide lot, and 205 feet deep, which is pretty good. And you have 3 spaces, and then you have 1 bedroom in the basement and a total of 4 washrooms. Let's take a look at this one, because I feel like this is a good example of this price point. Ensuite in the master bedroom is definitely a given. Then you might have a family room or something like that, a formal dining area in some of these homes with, as you approach close to 2,000 square feet. But I can see the kitchen is newly done. See white fresh cabinets and the quads here, and this could be a dining area. I wonder, do they have a formal dining in this? No. So yeah, this will have to be the dining area. It's just that for staging, to make it more spacious, they just haven't put the dining table there. But that's your powder room on the main floor. That's your laundry room right there, and likely there is a sink there. But that's right beside the laundry room is where you head upstairs, and just look at the space of this room. This must be the master bedroom. Even though they have fit in the full kind of bedroom set, I don't see, the space is cramped. There's more than enough space. This alley will take you to the ensuite, double sink, standing shower, pretty standard. Second bedroom, again, you don't see any cramped space. You could easily put in, a bigger bed if you need to, but obviously they are more so using both these bedrooms as seems like kids room and this one as a nursery. But what you can see is like, big family could, family of 4, with 2 grown-up kids can, definitely live in this house. And obviously the this is the common washroom, and the finished basement is an added plus in a house like this. And this is the one bedroom we were talking about in the basement, and one full washroom. So, and the deck is also pretty decent size. You have a small gazebo here, and then of course the shed and stuff. But yeah, pretty decent for low 900s. And again, this is as of Jan 2024. I wanted to show you some options in Forest Heights. Forest Heights. Not a lot happening here. This must be the Forest Heights. Yep. Okay, 4-bedroom, 4+1. So 4 up, 1 in the basement. Sold just under a month ago from when I'm shooting this. Sold for 900. So you could go for something like that in Highland West. That's a detached, or this is again a bungalow, well, more like a side split, and 1969, close to 1,700 square feet. But just look at this, close to just under 7,000 square feet of lot size, and you have finished basement. Take a quick glance at the pictures so you guys get an idea. You can see how wide it is, and that tells you about the overall living space. And of course, this is again seems like a corner lot, which is an added plus, but very well maintained. Even the landscaping, you can see like that. A lot of these small things will tell you a lot about the house without even entering into the house. Like how the current owners have kept it from the outside will tell you a lot about how the house, what you can expect as you go inside the house. Let me know in the comments below if that's how you can make out figure it out whether the house is gonna be a good surprise or not so good surprise. But take a look at this. Pretty decent. Again, nothing too fancy, but you're looking at a good rental potential in a house like this. And even the rooms are, as you can see, a decent size. So, as you approach that, 900 and close to $1 million, and we'll get to that mid 9 and high 9 very soon. But what you will find is, the rooms will be decent size. You will not find a lot of smaller layouts. You're definitely aiming for close to 2,000 square feet, especially as you go into the high 900s. But you have a finished basement, separate entrance with a kitchen and a bedroom. Right, so that could be a potential for income. Obviously, you will have to see whether the basement was done as per the code and with the permits or not. Like that's one thing you might want to find out. But you have one full washroom with double sink. That like a basement like this, 1-bedroom basement with kitchen and space like this, could easily go for something close to around $1,300 to $1,500. If you want to really find a good tenant, you will have to keep the rent slightly competitive, but that's why I'm saying $1,300 to $1,500. So you could actually find, good options for tenants and generate enough demand for your basement. So that's your low 900s. Let's see. Again, I'll head back to some of the neighborhoods on the east end. And as you can see, we are approaching close to that $1 million mark. The options are kind of opening up in the Dune South. But take a look at this, the 3-bedroom, 4-washroom, and you're looking at single garage detached, although it seems like a corner lot. And, this one is 2016, but you're crossing that 2,000 square feet of living space, which is pretty awesome. 46 feet wide lot is really good, and you have a finished basement. So that's what got this house the price that it got. And just look at this, right? The depth of it, the construction. You can see just driving by this house, you can make it out that it's around close to 2,000 square feet. And you do have entrance from the side of the house to kind of give you that added privacy. So that's your open concept. That's a form dining area. And then that's your living, not the living, kitchen. There you have your granite countertops, and that's your formal dining area, and that's your living. So basically pretty standard layout, living, dining, and kitchen with that open concept. But just look at the size of this room, that can tell you, like, you're sitting into a house close to over 2,000 square feet. You have laundry on the main floor, which is a plus. And as you head upstairs, and again, take a look at the space here. And this is what I was talking about. As you go into the high nines, you will be availing yourself maybe a family room or something like that in some of these homes, because there is ample space for that. So this is what looks like a family room. They probably will have a picture there, but we'll take a look at it. But this must be the master bedroom. And that's your ensuite, another bedroom. And that's the family room on the second level that you can find in some of these homes as you approach close to $1 million and higher than that. So obviously the space does allow for that additional living room and the family room being separate. Some of these homes will also have formal dining areas as well. So that's what you're looking at. So you could go for either something like this that's newer in this price range, or you could go for something that's mature but offers rental potential for you right away, but the construction will be slightly older. Example was the house that we saw in Forest Heights and some of this mature neighborhoods. So those are really your options as you go into the low to high 900s. I will try to see if we can find something in mid 900. Pine Valley is still due south, although I can say this part of the neighborhood is rather slightly on the older side, as you can see, early 2000s. And there's a patch of dune south which was built in last 10 years. So this is again early 2000s. A lot of Roberts Ferry, Thomas Lee, all the streets in dune south are built around early 2000s. So, and they were sold for like close to 300,000-400,000 in those days. But obviously that we'll leave that for discussion for another day. But close to 2,400 square feet of living space. This is really awesome. I'm excited to see what the house looks like from inside, although it does have unfinished basement. So if you don't have to have a rental income, then still I would like myself a finished basement if I'm paying the price of this nature. Then, because even though for using for yourself, you could use it as an office, library. If you have kids, you can use it for a kids play area or even a gym, something like that, right? It gives you options for additional living space, even for yourself when you're living in the house. So, but again, for every buyer, their negotiables might be different, and some the non-negotiables might be different. So to each their own, but I would personally like a finished basement because every house that we have lived in, we have really utilized the finished basement for ourselves. So that's just my food for thought. And that's what I was talking about. You can see this is the formal dining area that you can, ideal only in like homes over 2,000 square feet. Anything smaller, like it, maybe too cramped to fit in like an extra room just for dining area. But if you're having a, big family gathering for Christmas or Thanksgiving, you can really, fit in a much bigger dining table in this room, maybe a 12-seater. This is a much smaller, but that's what the purpose of this formal dining area is. And again, laundry on the main floor, or what it seems like a second floor, yeah. And there you have, that's your, again, I don't know if you looked at the living area. So you have a small living area here, and I think then they have a family room on a different level. That's what we are looking at. Yeah, so this is the family room, similar to what we saw in the previous home. That was for $990. You can see how big this family room is. You could easily turn this into like a theater, or you could even put an office in one of the corners, something like that, right? A kid's study area as well could be a good option. But each family will have their own way to use that space. But just look at the depth of this room, and that tells you the overall size. Even looking at the number of windows, that does tell you. The closets, you're getting double closets. Some of this 1,200 square feet townhome we saw earlier, you'll have half of this. Every room you will see space for this size. You have a 5-piece ensuite in your master, and of course 5 piece because you have a shower and the tub, and that's your deck. Not much to do here in terms of landscaping, although you do have a smaller area to do your gardening. But what I'm saying, not a lot to maintain during those summer days. So that's that's your mid 900,000 in the Dune South. But as you noted, like, you might have to go for slightly older construction. But honestly speaking, in my humble opinion, anything into late 90s, even early 2000s, if the house has been kept in good shape, I think, I'll be comfortable going with something like that. But now, this is to give you a general idea. I hope you do have a really good understanding now as to what you can find in each of those price points between 500,000 all the way to $1 million. Now, I will give you, as I promised, I will show you here quickly how you can do this exercise. I use House Sigma for this because you might be asking, why are you not using MLS system being a real estate agent? Well, the main reason for that is, MLS system will show a lot of private information of buyers and sellers and realtor remarks and things like that, which obviously we shouldn't be sharing that in the interest of clients' privacy. And if we are, then we do need their express consent. That's why we use House Sigma. At least I use House Sigma for purpose like this, so we don't end up sharing confidential information about buyers and sellers, because it's their right to respect their privacy. And now coming back to how you can do it yourself, you can sign up for House Sigma. You can create an account. They have an app as well. And now what you will have to do is just open their app or on a website. I will turn off the active listings. The reason being, as we know, many of these homes might be priced way lower than their actual market value. So that's why for this purpose, I kept it off, because I don't want to look at any active listings, so we don't know what they will actually sell for. And they may not be a true representation of what I want to show you guys. So that's why we took only the homes that were sold. You could change it to 30 days, but really, if you were to do that, like, it won't give you a lot of options because the market activity is fairly slow, especially in December and early January. So it's just that time of the year. So you will basically, let's say if I were to clear this filter, here's what you will do. You will turn off the active and change it to sold. You can pick 30 or 90 days or any of these options yourself, but I'll kept it 90 days. And then for sale, you can even pick what kind of properties you're looking for here. And then you can pick your price range. Let's say if you're a buyer working with 5 to 6, you can do. And I've actually done a neighborhood tour. Like, I've done a separate video about explaining Kitchener neighborhoods on my channel. So if you want to go and see what are some of the good neighborhoods worth looking at, then you could do that. But let's say if you have a particular neighborhood in mind, and let's say that neighborhood is, for example, Pioneer Park, then you could just search in that neighborhood and see what you can find in that price range, right? And let's say you have one more neighborhood, Huron Park. Then you can just search that neighborhood, or you could search the entire Kitchener within that price range and see what you can find. The only thing I would give you as a word of caution, House Sigma, if I were to rather go for some active listings, for example, let's say this one, you will always get this estimated value. As you can see, the disclaimer here, it uses the AI to estimate the home value. And oftentimes, especially in anywhere other than the balanced market, like either a buyer's or a seller's market, you will see this number that Sigma estimate shows is way off than what the house sells for. So that's why have your real estate professional send you the comparables, that are handpicked within the immediate vicinity of the house, and they are the ones to be guided by, not this estimated value. And you can do this exercise yourself. If let's say this agent was to reduce the price to 500,000, I can tell you the Sigma estimated value will go down. So, again, it's AI generated, may not be the most accurate. So don't be guided by that, and don't enter into a fight with the real estate agent over something like this, that, oh, you're asking us to put way higher than the actual value. I would rather be guided by the actual comps, as long as they are relevant, those comps. Okay. So there you go. That's how we can do this exercise, not just for Kitchener, but pretty much any other town. Let's say if you're living in, Guelph, for example, you could do the same thing for, excuse my spelling here, Guelph. You can do the same thing for that, and, pick different neighbors of Guelph, like Grand Shield on the east, or Courtright East, things like that, right? So you get the point of what I'm trying to say. And let me stop sharing my screen here. Thanks for staying till the end. Now I hope you do have general overview of what your options are within 500,000 all the way to $1 million right here in Kitchener, Ontario as of early spring 2024. If you did get some value, be sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to this channel, and tap on that bell for notification so you are the first to learn about the current market in and around Kitchener, Ontario. Once again, whether you're thinking of moving in 9 days or 9 months, be sure to reach out. All the info you will find right below in the description. I'll be more than happy to help you make a smooth move in and around Kitchener. Until next time, well, I do hope to see you around town.